Did you know that your birth order actually has a huge effect on your personality and who you become as a person? Oldest children, we got a lot of attention from our parents early on just because there weren't other kids around yet to take that away from us. With that came a lot of one-on-one teaching, which means that we tend to have higher IQs, we can feel very self-confident, and we're more likely to grow up and become leaders. This can kind of come off as bossy and controlling though. And once our other siblings do come around, there's a ton of responsibility and high standards just placed onto us. And we're the guinea pigs for our parents, so like we get in trouble for everything. And I can guarantee that every oldest child has heard, well, you're a role model. Your little siblings look up to you. Just be the bigger person. Did you know that your birth order actually has a huge effect on your personality and who you become as a person? The youngest, the baby of the family, holds a special place in their parents' heart, and because of that and the fact that their parents' attention is divided, they're able to get away with so much more than their older siblings ever could. Your parents have seen it all before, and studies have shown that your parents are more financially well off by the time they get to you, so they're less stressed, which makes you much more relaxed as a kid. The youngest sibling is very used to hand-me-downs and being compared to your older siblings by everybody, even your teachers, and because of this you try very hard to stand out and be your own person and be different than your older siblings. Every youngest sibling has heard, because I'm older and smarter than you, just wait your turn, I'm going first. You know mom and dad adopted you, right? Did you know that your birth order actually has a huge effect on your personality and who you're probably going to become as a person? Only children, you lonely fucks. You are the first and last child your parents will ever have, so you have this weird combination of being the oldest sibling and the youngest sibling. So while you might be like an overachiever with high expectations, you kind of get babied a bit by your parents. Only children are also known to just be a little bit more sensitive than everybody else, and that's just because you didn't have siblings to stab you with a fork or fart in your mouth. You might have been described as really mature for your age, and that's just because your only interactions are with other adults, which makes having relationships with kids your own age a little bit more difficult to have. But when you do get those friendships, they're just like having siblings. Every only child has probably heard the stereotype that you're selfish or you're spoiled, and I mean, every only child that I've met has been selfish or spoiled. You're probably cool though. You guys better know this by now because I've made 3 other videos talking about it, but your birth order actually has a huge effect on your personality and just who you are as a person. Middle children, you didn't think I'd forget about you, did you? No, I'm not like everybody else. You guys tend to feel undervalued and overlooked, and because of this, you are way more creative than anybody else in your family just because you had to entertain yourself. And for a while, your parents probably put you in the same activities or sports as your older siblings, even if you didn't enjoy those things. And because of that, middle children have reported that it's a lot harder to find their own identity and be their own person. And then your younger sibling came along and suddenly you weren't the baby anymore and you're not getting things your way, but because of this, you became a great negotiator and you're probably the peacemaker of the family. So today, me and Haley are going to be making some hamburger egg rolls. So you obviously need egg roll wraps, okay? But then you need hamburger meat, some onions, some cheese, and we're chopping up bacon right now too. We're gonna add some pickles too, along with all these sauces, and then we're gonna fry it. So you cook the ground beef, bacon, and onions all together. And then once it's all brown, you put it in a strainer just to get all the grease. So this is a mix of ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, and Worcestershire sauce, and you're just gonna mix this in. Now you're gonna add the pickles in. Also add your cheese now too. We got our egg roll wrappers. We're gonna make about 10 of them, and you gotta put about a little over a tablespoon of this in here and wrap it. You're gonna preheat a pot of oil to about 350 degrees, and then you're gonna plop in an egg roll for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's crispy golden brown. Stop. This is our first bite. How is it?
It's really good.
Psychology tricks that I know work because I use them. If you ever need to remember something, try thinking about it while doing something weird. This will pair the memory with the weird thing. Like if you need to remember facts for a test, eat something strange while studying. Or if you need to remember to take the garbage out in the morning, put the garbage bag in the kitchen sink. You'll remember. If someone's ever trying to make you make a decision in a hurry, it's more likely a bad deal and you should walk away. If you ask someone a question immediately before playing rock, paper, scissors, they're more than likely going to choose scissors, so you should play rock. Alternatively, if somebody ever asks you a question right before playing, they're going to choose rock, so you should choose paper. Like always, this video is for educational purposes only, but because TikTok is a little weird about the rules, I'm going to have to ask all the children to stop watching. Are y'all gone now? No? Whatever. While only 5% of the world's population lives inside of the US, they consume 37% of all of the world's cocaine supply. Albert Hofmann was the first person to synthesize, consume, and study LSD, and he lived to be 102. Beer and vaginas have almost the same acidity level with an average pH of 4.5. So ladies, if your dude likes beer but he's making excuses in other areas, it might be time to drop him. So this was the dumb trick I used to do in school. I want to see if anybody else can do it. So you take this hand and you go clockwise, and you take this other hand and you go counterclockwise, and then you do it at the same time. I can even switch it, but a lot of people are going to try it and go like this and be like, I'm doing it, but you're not. It's got to go different ways, and it's cool because it activates both hemispheres of your brain. So yeah, duet this. Let me see your attempts. I never said I had a boyfriend.
Chris, could you see Bella with a boyfriend?
Do you see me with a boyfriend?
No, no.
Chris just found out that I'm gay. I thought you knew.
Max, did you know?
Yeah.
Can I meet your girlfriend?
You met her already. She came over.
Wait,
Haley, the girl with the glasses and she played video games in the room?
do you kiss her?
Yes.
Do you sleep with her?
No.
Are you guys gonna be married?
I don't know. We're just dating right now.
I say you get a boyfriend.
I don't want a boyfriend. Your favorite song is probably your favorite song, not because you have like amazing musical taste, but because you associate it with an emotional event. Bilingual people, your decisions are going to be more rational if you think them through in another language. Humans have the tendency to think of themselves as above average in any number of traits: looks, intelligence, driving ability, but statistically we can all agree that we can't all be above average. And yet, when given a poll, more than half the population will think that they're better than the rest. So there's 3 very specific types of people in this world. There's dominant people who like to roll their toilet paper over. If you do this, you more than likely like to be in charge, you're organized, and you're an overachiever. Some studies have shown that people who roll their toilet paper over like this make more money. There's submissive people who roll their toilet paper under like this. If you do this, you tend to be more relaxed, dependable, and you seek relationships with strong foundations. Then there's switches. These people do not care which way their toilet paper goes. It does not affect them at all. They just want to minimize conflict. They enjoy flexibility and trying out new situations. Then there's the secret 4th type of person, the grown men who don't wipe their own asses in fear of it making them gay. We must hunt down these people and then shun them from society. Whenever your dog looks deeply into your eyes right before they poop, it means that they feel vulnerable and they trust you to keep an eye out for them. Dogs will actually sneeze when play fighting to show that they're playing around and they don't actually want to hurt you. Whenever your dog leans on you and puts their whole weight onto you, that's actually their way of telling you that they love you. Unfortunately, due to the bad economy, the price of eating out has gone up. So we're gonna need this 69 to turn into a 96 real quick, am I right? The Oedipus complex is a part of a young boy's life where they're unconsciously in love with their mother, in the sense that they actually think they're rivaling their dad. This is also why some men are gonna look at the woman they're in love with and think, she kinda looks like my mom. When blind people win a competition, they raise their arms in a victory salute, even though they've never seen anybody do that before. We're more likely going to place the cause of somebody's mean or unpleasant behavior on their disposition rather than their situation. When for us, the opposite is true. Karen's a bitch, but you just had a bad day. So sunflowers face the sun, right? But when they can't find the sun, they face each other.
A few moments later.
Bro, where is the sun? Bro, you are my son. Bro! Psychology tricks that I learned in my general psych class last year that I know work because I use them. People tend to get really uncomfortable in silence and they subconsciously try to fill this by talking. This works especially well if you're in a verbal altercation with somebody and they're kind of being an ass. Just don't say anything. Let themselves dig a deeper hole and listen to the word vomit spew out of their mouth. You can tell which one of your friends likes who by just paying attention a little bit more. If you're in a group and something funny happens or somebody tells a joke, people tend to be laughing while looking at the person they like most. I also want to apologize in advance if you do this and you notice that nobody's making eye contact with you. This last one helped me out a lot when I worked in customer service. If somebody is yelling at you or being a dick, just be like, excuse me, you have a little something in your teeth. This makes them feel very self-conscious and it stops them in their tracks every time. If you guys like this, I'll do a part 2. Random crap in my apparently not that tiny of a bedroom that means a lot to me. This matchbox that I stole from my dad's bathroom like 8 or 9 years ago, and I don't really use the matches, but I like the cool cowboy shoe design. This very large stack of pizza coupons that I took from my roommate who used to work at a pizza place, every 20 of these I believe is an extra large pizza. This journal that my mom forced me to write in like 2008, and I wrote in it every day over the summer, but like, Jesus, the handwriting is so bad in it, and I lost it. But I recently found it in 2019 and started writing in it again, and every few months I just update it on my life. My handwriting hasn't got that much better, shit. Cat hierarchy is simple. Whoever is placed higher is in charge. So if your cat's house is above your bed, they think they're in charge of you. If your cat's ever looking at you and then slowly closes their eyes while still making eye contact, that's their way of giving you a kiss. And if you do it back, they might just do it again. Believe it or not, but cats actually evolved the meow to communicate with us humans, and they don't use it with other groups of cats. And if they emphasize the O in meow, that means that something's urgent, they want something from you. If they emphasize the E, it's more pleasant, kind of like a greeting. What's your favorite movie genre? Think about it. There's been so much research just poured into personality types that I bet I can tell a lot about you as a person just by that one question. People who like comedy movies are creative and disorganized. They're the type of people to lose their keys in the morning, but they're also really fun at parties. People who just love horror films are the intellectual, defiant, reckless types. They love to challenge the norm, which is why they can be pretty disagreeable at times. People who like sports films are overwhelmingly Republican. Weird. There are a ton of different movie genres, so you better like this for a part 2 and leave in the comments which genre I should do next. So this one time before I got fired from Best Buy, this lady came in and she was like, hey, and I was like, hey, and she's like, can I return this camera? And I said, sure, you just gotta pay the 15% restocking fee. And she was like, what? And I was like, you just gotta pay the 15% restocking fee that you signed for. And she said, I didn't agree to that. I was like, ma'am, I can see your signature right there. And she said, well, Best Buy are thieves. And I was like, well, there's not much I can do about that. I am just a minimum wage employee. And she said, well, I'm not paying that fee. And I said, ma'am, if you don't pay that fee, I can't return this camera for you. And she said, I'll pay $15. I'm not paying 15%. And I said, that is not how any of this works. And she said, fuck you. And I was like, oh shit. And she continued to yell and curse at me some more, but she did eventually leave with her camera, but she did also leave a Yelp review on the situation, and she called me snot-nosed brat with no compassion or care. Guess what, Best Buy? You just lost a customer! Random crap in my tiny bedroom that means a lot to me. This is my astronaut duck, and I have him because there's a joke amongst programmers to get a rubber duck to talk to rather than bothering your coworkers with your coding problems. This is my Lego Red Stormtrooper that me and my brother Cruz built together, and by built together, I mean I did all the work because he's 6 and can't follow instructions for shit. This is a tiny Lego version of my girlfriend that we built at Disneyland, and she actually has a tiny Lego version of me as well, and we built God as a woman.
Top 10 hottest dates on movies and TV.
Since for the first time in a long time I got a normal amount of sleep, go me, I thought I'd do another round of sleep facts. It is impossible to sneeze while sleeping. Scientists have tried. You can't. Each child a mother has in her household increases her risk of inefficient sleep by 46%. I feel really bad for my stepmom because she legit has 9 kids. It's actually very common for deaf people to sign in their sleep. I know how to sign a few things in sign language, like a few common words, but my favorite would have to be eat a I think some of my favorite videos are when people try to recreate psychology tricks, but they don't actually use psychology, and they all kind of go like, psychology tricks, kidnap someone's family and demand ransom, and then when they give you the money, never set them free. Complete mindfuck. Did you know that the way you sleep can tell a lot about your personality? The fetal position. Many people, including myself, sleep this way because it offers a sense of safety. Those who favor curling up like a baby tend to be really sensitive but project a tough exterior. The log. Sleep specialists say that if this is your favorite way to sleep, you're probably really easygoing, social, and relatively trusting of others. The uriner. This is similar to log sleepers in the sense that you have a really open nature, but you're more cynical and not as gullible. The soldier. If you sleep on your back with your arms to your sides, you're more likely to wake up refreshed. You hold yourself to high standards, and when asked, you probably say that you sleep this way due to medical benefits. Except your snoring probably annoys people. The free faller. This is the worst position to sleep in, but if you prefer it, you're more likely bold and highly sociable, but you don't have the thickest skin when it comes to taking criticism. The starfish. You're known to be more selfless, even though everybody kind of thinks you're a bed hog.